Thanks, Cheryl. Thank you. Thank you for coming. I recognize a few of you. We started this program last year. We did it at the library last year because we thought the nice Wakeland room was beautiful to sit in. I didn't realize, though, doing the practical part, the live fire aspect of it, and it was windy that day, that we got a little bit of fire chemical extinguisher stuff on a few cars at the library. So Cheryl and I said, next year, let's do it at the Warren out on the field. But we had a good turnout last year. And what we're going to talk about today is how to use the fire extinguishers, when to use the fire extinguishers, and most important, there's types of fire extinguishers. And then the fun part is we get to go out and actually use the fire extinguishers on live fire, all right? Men in the audience, yes, we get to play with fire tonight. Even though the state says there's a red flag warning, so you got to watch for burning, but we got plenty of water in a fire truck out there, so nothing will get out of control. I do all the teaching, as my job as the education officer for the department, from the little kids stop, drop, and roll. I'm doing a lot of work now with the Council on Aging, with the seniors in town, and everywhere in between. I'm at the high school. I run a middle school program where middle school kids spend a week. It's called Fire Camp. They spend a week in the summer at the fire station, and they partake in all sorts of firefighting activities and field trips. And I'm a lifelong Wellesley resident. Can't believe 23 years on the job. It went by like that. If you got any questions, please, I love interaction. Those of you who've had my CPR class know I don't talk out of a book and bore you to death. So if you got a question, just raise your hand. You can call me Paul. And no question, don't feel, is this a dumb question? No question's dumb. We'll get it answered. And if I can't answer it, I'll get an answer for you, okay? I'm sorry, also I got helping me tonight is Lieutenant Matt Corder and Lieutenant Bob Mazzarelli. There's Matt in the back. Matt's also a certified fire and life safety educator, and Bob will be running the fire pump tonight. So, all right, let's talk about what is fire. In the fire service, we consider fire a living thing because it needs what we call three things to survive. First of all, we need to have a fuel, something to burn, okay? It can be any combustible material, solid, liquid, or gas. Most solids and liquids become a vapor or a gas before they will burn, okay? And they need oxygen, okay? The air we breathe is about 21% oxygen. Fire only needs an atmosphere of at least 16% oxygen to get what we call combustion. And heat. Heat is the energy necessary to increase the temperature of a fuel to a point where sufficient vapors are given off for an ignition to occur. And we call this the fire triangle. Okay, you need these three things: oxygen, fuel, and heat. We remove any one of those, the fire's out, okay? So by putting water on a fire, we're reducing the heat, so it's putting the fire out, okay? If I put a pot cover on top of a grease fire, I'm removing the oxygen, okay? If I remove a log or something that's burning, get it out of the fire, I remove the fuel, puts the fire out. Next, yeah.
What's the difference between fuel and heat?
Fuel is actually what burns. Heat is what you need to have it burn. So I need heat.
But doesn't fuel create the heat?
No, fuel creates is creates the fire process. Yeah. Okay. There's also, this gets a little technical. This is more for a chemistry class. This doesn't really go into homeowner fires, but there is in industries out there where you can have a chemical reaction that causes a fire. Like, like a nuclear power plant, you can have a chemical reaction that causes a fire. So they are teaching now a fourth thing to it, but you're not going to see this in your average house unless you've got you're heating with nuclear power plant or so on. Okay, Cheryl. And like I said, see, a fuel can be any combustible material, oxygen. Okay, you can go ahead, Cheryl. This is how fires are classified, okay, and how extinguishers are classified, okay? We're going to have class A, B, C, and D, okay? Class A is ordinary combustibles or fibrous materials such as wood, paper, cloth, rubber, and some plastics, okay? A lot of things that you have in your house. Class B are flammable or combustible liquids such as gasoline, kerosene, paint thinner, paint, propane, and so on. Class C is electrical equipment, energized electrical equipment, appliances, switches, panel boxes, transformers on the poles we have, and so on. Class D is you do not have anything in your household. It's those are metals that catch on fire that are done in industry and so on. Go ahead. When not to firefight. Using a fire extinguisher, me as a fire educator, it's kind of a double-edged sword with fire extinguishers. If you don't know how to use a fire extinguisher right, you can make the fire worse, and you'll see tonight how that can happen. So I always lean towards the side, if you're not sure, get out and call 911, all right? Insurance will pay for the damage. We don't want any lives being lost or injuries. You probably don't realize Hollywood does a very bad injustice to fire, okay? Fire doubles in size approximately every minute. That's why a fire starting in a house at night, when I'm teaching the kids in the elementary schools, they need to know 2 ways out of their house. They need to practice getting out of their house because it doubles in size every minute. And under 4 minutes, a house can be hot enough to heat in there that it can't sustain life. Okay? And in Hollywood, it's great. They show you the fire, and you can see the firefighter, and all. But in real life, when we're in a fire, I can't see the hand in front of my face due to the smoke, okay? And we have to have breathing apparatus on. So it's all, we can feel the heat, so it's all we have to feel and crawl and work our way around an area. When you do use a fire extinguisher, you always want to, if you're using it, you've got your face in the fire and your back's to your escape route, okay? That's so if the fire extinguisher runs out or it gets out of control, you need an escape route to get out and get out quick, all right? Like I said, don't fight a fire yourself, call for help. Okay, sure, now we can go. Class A. Class A, what it does, it cools the heat, okay? So it stops the fire triangle, okay? This is a water extinguisher, okay? This is good only on Class A fires, all right? Class B are flammable liquids, greases. What they do is remove the oxygen by smothering it, okay? That's what we're going to be using tonight. We call them dry chemical extinguishers. Basically, it's like baking powder, okay? And what it does, it smothers the fire, removes the oxygen. And the good thing about these extinguishers is they can be used on, when we get further in, on all three phases of fire, A, B, and C. D is, none of the extinguishers we got tonight are rated for D. They're in industry. I can tell you a story where this came into, when I was in the fire academy in 1993, there was a chemical manufacturer in Newton, Upper Falls, called the Stark Manufacturing Company. They manufactured heavy metals, okay, that are used in industry. And what happened there, the Newton fire was always getting called there because they had small fires. And to put out a Class D fire, you can't put water on it. Water causes a chemical reaction that causes an explosion, okay? So they had to use a special powder, a sodium powder. So the fire was in the barrel in the manufacturing process. So the four firefighters went in, got the powder, and they got a shovel that was in the room. Well, they didn't realize that shovel was used near water, and there was just enough water vapor on that shovel when they put the first scoop of the sodium ash in to put out this metal fire, it exploded. And that's when they were all severely burned. 9 firefighters got burned that night and never went back to work again. So that's what happens in the industry. So we can move on. All fire extinguishers, you've probably heard of Underwriters Laboratories. They test all consumer products and safety things. Okay? So on this water extinguisher, it has a classification of A, which means I can use this on A-type fires, paper, wood, certain plastics, and so on. Okay? I take my dry chemical, and see right here it's got A, B, and C. So I can use, this will work on a paper, wood fire. It will work on liquid fire, grease fire, and so on. And it will also work on electrical fires. I'm also going to show you it's too heavy to bring in, but out there, I'm going to show you another Class C extinguisher. It uses carbon dioxide.
What about the little ones we all have in our kitchen?
They're a smaller version of this right here.
And it says on it ABC?
Yep. You never want to put water on an electrical fire, okay? Because water conducts electricity, okay? All right. To properly use a fire extinguisher, we use the acronym PASS. It means pull the pin, aim the extinguisher nozzle at the base of the flame, squeeze the trigger while holding the extinguisher upright, and sweep the fire extinguisher side to side. All fire extinguishers in buildings, they have a pin here. What that does, it's just so I don't accidentally set it off by moving it around. So pull the pin, and we'll be doing this outside. It's boring in a classroom. And what I would do is I would aim to the base of the fire. I then squeeze the handle, and then I sweep back and forth, putting the fire out. What happens a lot with people with fire extinguishers sometimes is they panic and they get too close, and there's a lot of force in this, and they shoot it just, and they don't sweep it, and what it does, it blows the fire and can cause it to spread. Okay, Cheryl. Okay, very important. Remember, should your path of escape be threatened, should your extinguisher run out of agent, should your extinguisher prove to be ineffective, should you no longer be able to safely fight the fire, you need to get out and close the door on your way out, all right? We always want to close the door when we're leaving a room that's on fire, because that's going to give us a little bit of a fire break. Remain calm, act quickly, not rashly. Your objective is to survive. If you can exit safely, do so. If not, you must work quickly to defend yourself against smoke and flame. Most people who, the majority of people who die in a fire are not killed by the flames. They died from the suffocation, carbon monoxide, the smoke inhalation, okay? If there's a fire in a room and the door is closed, you've probably heard you never want to open a door that could be a fire. You want to feel with the back of your hand to see if it's hot. And the reason we feel with the back, not our palm is, a little tougher. Back here is sensitive, you'll be able to feel. If that door is hot, we do not go out it and go through it. And this is what we're talking about now. Should you're trying to get out of your house in a fire, we teach everyone to what we say crawl low and smoke. And what crawl low and smoke means, I'm down on all fours. And the reason I'm down here is because when there's a fire, the heat and hot gases rise to the top of a room. You're able to see but breathe better down here. So this is what I'm teaching in the schools. We crawl. When we go into fight a fire, because I told you we can't see either, with our hose line, we're always on all fours, feeling around and getting to the fire. And the big question I get from the kids in the elementary school is, how do I go down a set of stairs? By crawling. Does anyone want to guess? Backwards, right. We go down backwards to crawl down, because forward we could tumble over, and so on. Also, if our clothes catch on fire, we stop, drop, and roll. And we stop, drop, and roll wherever we are, if we're inside or outside. By doing that, we're smothering the fire. We're removing the oxygen, putting the fire out. If we run when our clothes are on fire, it's just going to make the fire burn hotter and faster. This gets a little technical, but let's say you're trapped in your bedroom. The smoke alarm goes off. You got your door shut. You felt the door, it feels warm. So what do? Okay? What we want you to do is go to the window, and all the little kids like to say, yeah, and jump out. No, we don't jump out. We go to the window and we yell for help, okay? When we show up on the scene of a fire, that's why it's important that families not only have a fire escape plan, but they have a meeting spot where they all meet out in front of the house. That's so when the firefighters show up, they can say we're all accounted for, okay? If someone's unaccounted for, some firefighters are going to be going around the house checking every window, and we can get a ladder and put you up. He wanted to know what's the most common type of fire. It's usually electrical. Extension cords get pinched. Never run an extension cord under a rug that you're stepping on. It used to be, smoking used to be the #1 cause, but as smoking has decreased in our population, we're seeing that go down. Although that's still the major with the elderly, is smoking, fires, and then cooking fires too. Other questions? Yes?
How long is your fire extinguisher?
Like?
Yeah, like a fire extinguisher that I've had for 30 years.
Yeah. There's no, I'm looking for my glasses. There's no, I will. She wanted to know how long, she's got a 30-year-old fire extinguisher. Yeah, it'll probably work, but it's probably time to get a new one. They all come with a pressure gauge that tells you it's okay. But at 30 years old, they're cheap enough now. We're actually raffling a few of them off tonight. And you can go to Home Depot and they have them. They last a long time, but 30 years I would just err on the side of getting a new one. This can put out a 4 square foot fire of A. A combustibles, which is wood, paper, and so on. Okay? On B, liquids, and C, energized electrical, 60 square feet. Okay? 10 years. See, on this it says 5, B, and C. This little kitchen one means it can do a liquid or energized electrical 5 square feet. Okay? And see, that one's 10. Yeah. You need really the kitchen, and you need it located where you would escape to get out of the kitchen. So like under the sink doesn't work well when your stove's right there. So you need it where it'll be in a position where here's my stove and there's the back door. This is a way out. Somewhere I know you're not going to want. Everyone puts them down on their cellar stairs. Well, it does no good there. You want to be able to get it but have an escape route. Oily rags. Oily rags we do not throw into the trash barrel because they combust. The best way to get rid of an oily rag is to put it in a bucket of water and put it outside for the night. You asked, do fires in Wellesley, do the detectors go off? I must get the question, well, Wellesley doesn't have many fires. Well, fires are down nationwide, even in the big cities, because of technology. Everyone has smoke detectors now. So fires are caught at an earlier stage than they were years ago. Plus fire alarm systems. Plus the building code, you know, is more strict now. So fires are down. We require more sprinkler systems, which are in buildings. All fires are being caught earlier now. Okay, so that's why fires are down across the country, thanks to technology and the building code. Now these are harmless, and the ones you've got, like I said, it's a chemical just the same as baking soda. So these won't react with anything. You know, the big thing is, you know, you want to put it on your way, your plan of escape. And of course, in a nice kitchen, you want to have a fire extinguisher mounted on the wall next to your door, but have it somewhere where you can make sure it's on your way out. But these are, you'll see this dust tonight. Yeah, it irritates you because it's a powder, but it's totally harmless. Because the Babson College kids love to shoot these off in the dormitories. So. Right, a lot of the new smoke detectors are dual now. They do both carbon dioxide and smoke, and they talk to you. They'll tell you whether it's fire or a carbon monoxide. Okay.
I had one put in.
Yes.
6 o'clock in the morning, it was fire.
Yeah.
And there wasn't no fire.
Unfortunately, smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors are very sensitive. And guess who loves smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors in a house? Spiders. That's like a condo to spiders. They crawl in there, they hit the beam, and they set them off, okay? So unfortunately, never hesitate. You're not sure, you know, my smoke detector, first of all, if your carbon monoxide detector is going off, call 911, because we'll come. We have gas meters, because carbon monoxide is odorless, tasteless, you can't see it, and you can die. And we have meters, and we'll come and test the air. 9 out of 10 times it's over at the defective detector. We're finding too they're very sensitive in the summer to humidity. But yes, spiders love making them. And of course, when your battery gets low, it chirps, and it always does it at 2 in the morning, not 2 in the afternoon. It did it in my house 2 weeks ago. So. Yes, Laura. No, see, good question. What she wanted to know, does carbon monoxide rise like smoke? No, it's a more ambient. It's kind of everywhere. So, That's why it isn't like smoke and heat that are lighter and rise to the top of a room. It doesn't matter because it's gonna be everywhere. Yeah. And carbon monoxide detectors are only good for 7 years, okay, and they need to be replaced. Smoke detectors, 10 years, and there's dates right on the back of them. It could fail, yeah. You know, if it fails, we just recommend getting a new one. I see Deidre's raising her hand back there. Yeah, are they the plug-in kind that plug into an outlet? Hardwire, yeah. Don't worry where the carbon monoxide, because it can be anywhere, so you're safe. Yeah, because smoke you want high, because smoke rises.